This mutation is called Flipping Out, and we have everyone's favorite mutator, Vertigo, as you can see, is already taking effect over here. I have never casted the game with Vertigo before, so it might be a little bit interesting for me as well to cast. It might be a bit of a challenge, but let's see how that goes. But we have Vertigo, and then we have Fear, and we have Evasive Maneuvers. So in general, it is just made to annoy the player very, very much. I find these mutators to be not particularly difficult to handle, just particularly annoying. So let's see how that goes. We have a relatively reasonable camera angle over here, and everything seems to be working fine. The Vertigo mutator does cause a lot of problems for players. They really do not like that mutator because it can get very, very confusing after some time. So what I tend to do when I play against the Vertigo mutator is I tend to use my minimap. I tend to click on the minimap a lot more often because your camera angle might change, but your spatial awareness kind of remains the same. So as long as you click on the minimap and you're getting like reasonably decent angles, there you go. We have Fenix and we have Kerrigan over here, and they will be helping Janara beat Amon's champion while the world around them flips around back and forth several times every minute. But let's have a look at the production meanwhile. The production seems to be relatively normal. We have a Stargate being produced by Fenix, and we also have a Gateway and a Cybernetics core. So I'm assuming Fenix wants to do a Carrier Talus build, maybe? It might be possible. He is getting his Zealot out first, though, so I think he wants to get his Zealot, get Cal Talus out, and then go for Talus, and then maybe a Carrier, but I'm not sure. He might be starting off with Mojo first, though, because he doesn't have his Fleet Beacon down yet. Okay, there we go. There goes the Fleet Beacon. So I think he wants to try and get a Zealot, and then in an Adept, and then maybe a Carrier, and then take advantage of the Glaive with the Resonating Glaive upgrade. Sorry, not the Resonating Glaive upgrade. I can't remember what it's called. The Glaive upgrade, which allows Talus to deal extra damage, provides a debuff. Maybe with Kalarian might be the combination that he's trying to go for. Kaldalis does get feared and gets kited by these Diamondbacks, and I think Kaldalis is pretty much going to go down over there. So Kaldalis is dead right now because of that one fear debuff that he managed to get hit by. Our Gateway being produced now. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what build Fenix is going for. Kerrigan is going for the standard hero build here, so Kerrigan will be moving to clear out this side, and then she'll move up to this ramp over here. So just clear that side out, and now they are going to try and push towards this small attack wave here. Again, not really too bad. Kerrigan has an assimilation ore running, so she's picked up a lot of resources right now for Fenix. And yeah, both players seem to be relatively okay in their macro. Kerrigan is probably going to try and clear up the expansions as well. We have Kerrigan and Fenix on this side. I think Janara has moved forward enough. You kind of don't want to trigger the hybrid wave a little bit early. You kind of want to take your time in the early stages of the mission. Kerrigan does end up getting feared, and so does Fenix, and now they are running aimlessly around. But Fenix switches over suit, changes suit now, and he is in the Solar Ride Dragoon. Kerrigan is on this side, and she is dealing damage to these waves here, but I think she gets feared and then gets killed off by the defenders on that side. Fenix is over here, and he is dealing with the Diamondback on there, and he has getting feared again. But he's in the Spraetor armor suit now, and he ends up clearing up the this wave as well as again he gets feared, changes suit, and now he's in the Solar Ride Dragoon here, and I think he'll be okay. There is a bunch of Diamondbacks, which gets kind of annoying. This Diamondback triggered evasive maneuvers and ends up next to Fenix, so it just gets smoked by Phoenix's Solar Ride Dragoon suit. Production-wise, Kerrigan is going for the upgrades here for Kerrigan herself and her. She's getting the metabolic boost upgrade for her Zerglings, and she's getting the missile attacks upgrade. So I think she's going for a Zergling Hydralisk build, which might be a little bit interesting to see. Kerrigan is now back with vengeance, and she wants to try and clear her expansion. So she's using these Zerglings now to soak up a little bit of the damage. She's taking aggro away from Kerrigan over here. You can see the Zerglings are all running around aimlessly, but she has cleared this side out now. The next attack wave of this mission has spawned, and this is one of the scariest attack waves in this mission because it is really, really strong considering the time that it actually hits your base at. So it's a 5/5 attack wave, and you need to have a lot of you need to have a lot of army to be able to deal with that wave over there. So we're gonna move over here, and you can see Kerrigan is on this side. Good thing is it is a bio army, so she can kind of deal with it with relative ease, but there we go. Assimilation ore comes down. Really wish she used her assimilation ore just a little bit earlier to just get the value out of those marines as well. You can see a ton of siege tanks over here. And one thing you can do when you're engaging siege tanks with someone like Kerrigan or any kind of melee unit is you can kind of mess with the AI a little bit. If you walk up to a siege tank that has been sieged up and you start attacking it, it will unsiege. And if you see it unsieging, you just run away from it a little bit and it'll try and siege up again. And you can kind of sneak damage out on it a little bit. You can kind of do this with Dahaka as well when you're farming early essence. So that's just a little tip for you guys if you want to, if you're struggling to deal with siege tanks and enemy bases over here. Kerrigan has cleaned up her expansion, so she can go ahead now and clear that. She's going to push to this enemy base, this enemy camp here, and just clean up. But now we have the first set of hybrids that have spawned, and this I don't think was pushed forward. It was not because Janara was pushed forward. I think it was just the hybrid spawn there. Oh, look, a normal camera now, so I can actually see what's going on in this fight. Fenix is over here with a Solar Red Dragoon. Instantly one-shots a lot of the units over there. And now my camera is messed up again. We have a Solar Flare. It gets cast from Fenix to just weaken these hybrids, but I think it misses a lot of its targets. So Fenix is now in the Praetor armor with Kerrigan on the side here to just deal damage to this hybrid. This hybrid goes down, other hybrid goes down, and the last hybrid has been cleared as well. Janara still has a little bit of distance left, but players will probably want to push Janara forward a little bit just to make sure that a random harass wave does not end up pushing Janara into the pit. So we have here, Fenix is producing a lot of carriers, so I don't know whether Fenix wants to do a mass carrier build, but it does look like he is trying to focus on the mass carrier here.
I guess.
Kerrigan, on the other hand, is going for a bunch of queens. Those Zerglings, I think, all ended up dying out to the push. So we'll see what Kerrigan's plan is over here. Pushing Janara a little bit forward, and Janara is making her way there, and now they've triggered the next set of hybrids, and they haven't cleared that place a little bit in advance, so it will be a little bit tricky. I am going to just use this thing and just look at where these guys are moving, because again, this is getting a little bit tricky to navigate, especially when my screen is semi-upside down. We have Polarian here with Kerrigan and Fenix, so those three guys are going to be trying to take out this hybrid wave. We have an assimilation ore and an immobilization wave that gets triggered on Kerrigan, and that instantly wipes out a lot of the defenders in this area. So we just have a bunch of hybrids now to get cleaned up. Big hybrid behemoth gets taken out, and now we just have 3 hybrid destroyers here. We clear down with relative ease. So they didn't really struggle with that side. Relatively good here. So yes, it does look like Fenix wants to go for a mass carrier build with Kerrigan going for Zerglings to just try and soak up some of the fear debuffs to get triggered by the enemy units. So that'll be okay. Kerrigan now is going to try and make some detection just to deal with some of the cloaked units. At the 12-minute mark, Banshees in any enemy base and any attack wave will start to get their cloak upgrade. So they will start cloaking and they will start knowing you. So always useful to get your detection here. We have a few overlords over here as well with Kerrigan. I'm assuming this is because she just wants to soak up some extra damage from Vikings or whatever. Getting the Overlord to get feared instead of Kerrigan might help her. I think that's the plan. Or these might be just as an emergency in case her Overseer gets shot down. She can make another one with relative ease. Not really sure why she has those Overlords there. Oh, nope, those overlords are moving back, but then we have another. So that was basically a miss rally, okay. I thought there was some grand scheme. There was some grand plan to this, but it was not. It was just a miss rally. So Kerrigan gets targeted by a Seeker Missile, gets feared, so she cannot actually jump out of the way, and Kerrigan goes down again. Hydralisks are pushing forward into the space, but there are siege tanks on this side, and they are shelling away at these Hydralisks. The Hydralisks gets completely shredded, but the carriers are still standing relatively strong here against the enemy defenders. This carrier is getting focused fired down by the by this missile turret over here. It does get taken out, and now Fenix is getting focused fired down by this missile turret too. Gets feared, and he switches over to his Praetor armor here to try and deal with some of the ground forces. Fenix's carriers, I think he lost one of them. Yeah, he did end up losing one of his carriers, which kind of sucks in the early stages of the game. You do not really want to lose any of these expensive carriers. Kalarian now is getting focus fired down. Is he going to survive? I don't think he is. No, Kalarian goes down as well now. So that is a second carrier out for the count. There is now an attack wave that is making its way up this ramp, and Kerrigan is now in position to deal with this attack wave. A bunch of Zerglings, Assimilation Ore comes down, and Mobilization Wave instantly one-shots this attack wave, so this whole thing has been cleared out relatively easily, and Fenix is just cleaning up whatever's left of this base on this side. And now there is a nuke in the Allies' base over here, and there are some pings of panic coming up. There is a nuke, but I don't think Fenix has any detection, so Fenix is just going to lose a lot of pylons over there. Unfortunately for him, he does not end up getting supply block because he has over pylon on that side. But there's now a harass wave here that's pushing Janara forward, and Kerrigan is on the ball here to try and deal with this. So that carrier is that ghost is cloaked and is harassing Fenix right now. But it ends up dying now to Fenix's detection, I believe. I think he has his detection now. So, Fenix was set back a little bit as a result of that ghost shenaniganry, but now they're ready to push Janara forward this way, I believe. And Janara will be moving forward now. We have another harass wave over here that has spawned, but again, Kerrigan has pretty much got this area locked down. The harass wave is not going anywhere, and sure as hell is not going anywhere with Janara.
Our allies got into trouble.
And now they're going to try pushing into this base over here, which will eventually trigger Janara to move forward and spawn the next set of hybrids. So a few missile turrets are left over on this side. This base was getting attacked a little bit earlier. This is where Fenix was taking that big engagement. And the hybrids have spawned right now. So we are back to an almost regular camera. So a little bit tilted, but here we go. Now we get to see the fight for the next 10 seconds until the camera flips around again. So a bunch of Ultralisks to the start. Kerrigan jumps in. Immobilization wave again wipes out the entire set of defenders on this side, just leaving the hybrids. Hybrids do get stasis by Fenix, leaving a few of the hybrids here. But there's an attack wave here that is also pushing in towards Kerrigan's base. Kerrigan says to teleport them back and leave this hybrid up, which is the good idea, because moving Kerrigan back here, Kerrigan can deal with it, and then you know, Janara has a lot of time before she's gonna get pushed into the pit. So that happens. Kerrigan's army now is on this side, and the Ultralisks are able to clear. I'd like to see some Nine Swarms on Kerrigan's side. Just having a, one or two Nine Swarms might make Kerrigan's life a little bit easier, because she is fighting with a melee, with a ground composition anyway. So since she's not using any air units, the Nine Swarms might make Kerrigan's life a little bit easier. Almost failed with the cam change. Yeah, the camera changing does make the mission so much more difficult, because it makes it. It does make the mission difficult. It makes it confusing. Not knowing which direction you're moving in and stuff. And this is why I was mentioning earlier, I tend to rely on the minimap a lot. I tend to not even try and find which way everything is moving. I just look at the minimap and see where I want to go. So over here, Kerrigan is moving Janara forward. And Fenix gets actually clipped by the elemental here and takes out it loses a lot of his interceptors over there. So this elemental can be pretty nasty. And yeah, it has ended up capturing a lot of his carriers here. A few of the interceptors are starting to clear their buddies, but yeah, that can be devastating over here, just moving in and getting hit by the elemental. But there we go, the elemental goes down, so the cocoons disappear. Kerrigan, in the meanwhile, has completely cleared the space, or almost completely cleared the space, and they will be ready for the final push, and this mission's madness can end. But yeah, I think when you have a camera angle like this, it's very, very confusing to see where you want to go and where you're supposed to go. So I tend to just use a mini-map to navigate a little bit. Janara is over here now, and she wants to go and win this rack shear, so the allies are going to help her move forward. But there are a ton of creep tumors here for Kerrigan. There's a little bit of creep spread, which kind of useful for her. There is a small harass wave that spawns to try and push Janara forward, but again, Kerrigan has a few units out here in an Ultralisk against a bunch of Marauders. The Marauders stand no chance against Kerrigan's Ultralisk, and now Janara starts to move forward here. Yeah, we have another harass wave that comes up, but it just gets completely wiped by the allied forces. Their armies are really strong now, so combined with the power of the carriers and the Hydralisks and Ultralisks, I think there's more than enough to deal with that. Allied commanders are going to assert some dominance to aim on, and they also want to clear, most importantly, these two Ghost Academies. These Ghost Academies are the reason why you get nuked on this mission. So clearing these means you will no longer get nuked. So Janara has triggered the last set of hybrids, and they will start pushing her forward. Or backwards again, back into the other direction. Kerrigan is going to be engaging from this side. I think Fenix is going to engage from the same side. Yes, it's going to engage from the same side. Kerrigan gets feared temporarily. She's going to jump in, and down goes on the mobilization wave again, and instantly cleans up everything over here. That immobilization wave is nasty. Instantly wiped out everything that was there. The hybrids are just left, and they end up just getting completely destroyed by the power of Fenix's carriers and Kerrigan's army. And now Janara is going to be moved forward into the pit, and that is pretty much the end of the game. There may be a harass wave, but I think Janara is moving way too fast to get another harass wave to slow her down. So yeah, there we go. Let's make it a nice angle into the pit of sacrifice as well in that process. There we go. And that is Amon's champion into the pit, and that is GG.